I'm very honored this morning to join Jutta for her very first service. She's been in service so divinely with us for a long time. And now the love is just breaking through, and it's time that it have a larger platform to shine and share. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you all for coming. I feel like you're all here for me, so yeah, thank you. Well, I had a song come to mind just maybe a half hour ago. It just reflects beautifully what I've kind of come through and popped out of on the other side. So maybe we can just listen to that first, and we'll get into it.
Like you could.
Right, but haven't we all been there? Yeah, so I can really just speak from where I'm at, and I just feel like so much has happened, like in just like 2 days, and it wants to come out. So I've just been in this experience of this bursting love and having it come up and not knowing what to do with it. So my initial response is hide it away. But that doesn't work. So it kind of just builds and builds and builds, and then it has to just come out. And it's just, I just feel like that my first expression, just expressing it with the person that it's seemingly really bursting with, just expressing with them has led like to all of these miracles. Like just like everything has just been a huge miracle from then on. And it was so great to have David there too, because his cheering on for me was, it's going to turn out great. So as soon as I heard that, it was like, okay, I trust it. I just have to trust that it's going to turn out great. And I couldn't have imagined it turning out this great. So this song, just came in this morning. I really like this song. Because it's like it says in the chorus, it's easier to say, you think it's easier to say I hate than I love. And yeah, like for me, there's been so much fear around expressing love. Like it's embarrassing, or like I'm gonna die, or it's gonna break things. Like I thought allowing this love to come through was going to interfere with everything. Like I thought it was going to be an interference with the flow, and so it's so backwards, but that was there. So, but I love how a spirit teaches through comparison and contrast. Because keeping it in doesn't work. It feels just like a balloon that's getting blown up too full, and it's gonna get to a point where it's just gonna pop and everything's gonna come out. But really, like, what feels so much better is just to let it all flow instead of having it blow up and then release, and letting it blow up and release. And I find now that just letting it flow this way, everything flows, and everyone is reflecting what I'm feeling. Like I feel like everyone's just like really expressing from their hearts, and like I feel like all of us are in love with each other. And I feel like I started it.
You are the catalyst. You are the catalyst.
It just feels like Spirit's rinsing my mind right now of things I think I learned in the past about what love is and what it does, what it has to look like, or because this feeling is there. It's like, oh my God, I'm in love. Like it's just pouring out. Like it's just coming out, and I can't do anything about it. But I was really getting hung up on, what do I do with it? Where do I put it? Like how does it come out? How does it need to come out? Does it even have to come out? So I just realized how in the past I seem to learn that when this feeling comes up, there's a certain set of circumstances that would come from that. Like oh, there's love. That must mean that I need to be with this person in a relationship. And it has to look this way. And if that doesn't happen, then I'm broken. And all of that's being washed. And Spirit is really showing me that none of that's true. That there's just love. And it doesn't need to do anything. It doesn't look a certain way. There's not a track like that it takes me on that I know. It's just everything is so unknown right now with this feeling, but it's just there. And it's great. But nothing has to happen. And that's so freeing, because I was so afraid with this love coming up that I knew what it was about or what it was supposed to look like. Just thinking that I know what it has to do or what it's going to look like was bringing up so much fear. But once I realized that none of that's true, it could just come out in whatever way it wants to, in all moments.
Yeah, it's the very idea of personal love and specialness that would hold back that love. That's the judgment that would hold you back from finding out what was coming next, like that you experienced next. Yeah. Like I like the line in that song where it says about how can I hide my love away with all this being faced in my face every day, you know. And she says, you know, love will find a way. You can trust love will find a way, like the Spirit's saying. So we're given these particular ones that seem to give us heart-opening experiences, but really it's just for it all to start gushing through in the experience.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And also the idea that you could hide your love away, like she said to me, you know, I've been trying for a week now. I said, really? You think it worked for a week? You think it wasn't in total awareness for the whole week? You know, because the joy is that there are no private thoughts. That's the joy. It's just everything's in full awareness all the time. It's just we have to catch up with that fact.
Yes. I love that though.
Yeah.
It actually, I like that I really can't hide it away as much as I think I can. Like, I'm experiencing what I'm experiencing and everyone knows, whether I talk about it or not. That's great. Just, yeah, it makes it a lot less intense.
Well, we're sharing in it.
Mm-hmm.
So why would you hide it from us? Like why wouldn't it be shared?
I just wanted to hide it from me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then we watched that film with David.
It could happen to you.
Mm.
Mm-hmm. It did. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. It's like I feel like everything is being given to me. The whole world is being given to me. So much like is being given to me. And I just have to like put my hands out and take and like accept it. Like, yeah, that's for me. Happiness is for me. All this like feeling of love and joy, that's for me. I can just take that without thinking I need to do anything about or for it, for me to like be worthy of that. It's just, I'm innately worthy. We are all innately worthy of joy and love and
We were talking as well about, I keep having this thought of like waiting upon love's invitation, because love, when it's truly experienced, is gentle. And you had these feelings before, and then you had just put them to one side, and then an avenue got given, a very specific avenue for joining got given, which maybe you feel to share a little about that.
Yeah. It seems so geeky, but yeah, so I don't know how to start this, but Spirit has given me someone to collaborate with, and it's just been so heart opening, and like it feels like the connection couldn't work with anyone else in this way. Like it's just amazing. Like I just feel like every moment within this collaboration is so exciting and so sweet, and nobody else would really understand it if seemingly what's coming to me is like tech equipment, little gifts of tech equipment, and yeah, just he's sharing documents about the internet and the network here and the server, and it seems so funny. It seems so like, why would it excite me so much? But I just feel like everything is being shared with me. Like I'm given everything. It just feels like this treasure chest is allowed open, and I can just take it like it's for me.
Because you have a welcome for it. There's a spaciousness and an emptiness that you've been willing to allow into your life, where you've not been grabbing or grasping or striving for things. And that was recognized in the mind, and this receptivity then just allows the love to start to flow, and this is what it looks like. But you're being given the core processors perhaps, but the core is coming towards you because you just have an open invite for it. Mm-hmm. And it's coming. And it's also the call of JP's heart, because his call is to hand this over, but nothing can be handed from one to another in form. It's only in the mind, and this sharing can only happen in this joining in the mind. That's the only place there's this union. There's nothing happening in form, really. Like you said, you couldn't understand any of what's actually happening. Mm-hmm. You came out from your first session, you said, I don't know who I am. You said to me, I don't know who I am. Just the welcome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it might look like information is being shared and like passed back and forth, but there's something beyond that that's flowing. Like it's just like here I am, like come with me. Yeah.
So it can only be an invitation to one like yourself who could join in the mind in that way. But that's what the invite's for. That's the invitation to love. It's like I think for myself, it's like, we were talking with Nikita about this. It's just like I can only stay in the fact that I am beloved,
mm-hmm.
and see what is attracted and invited to that. The invite comes towards this self and it moves towards, but it's waiting upon that very gentle, very given invites that come, because nothing else is real. And we've too deep a belief in sacrifice, and even the idea at the beginning that you might have to hold it back because maybe it was personal,
that would interfere with our collaboration.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, and like what feels most powerful to me is just to like feel this without any expectations or without putting any meaning on it. Because I told JP, and I told this to I think Jenny and David, that I just want to feel that. I just want to feel this love. That's all. And that's really what my experience has been since I've expressed it. It was just like, I feel like my heart could have burst last night. Like, it was just so much, and I was kind of just like staying with it, but I was praying like, what do I do? Like, what am I gonna do? It's so much, but it was just, just experience it, feel it, like be in the love. It's just so, what I came to this morning is why it feels so big is because it's absolute. There's nothing else. It's just that, like, it's just love.
And it started to transfer instantly all around in your experience. Like, there was a love session at the monastery with Jenny. Yeah. And then you came home and it was going on. So, like, the whole...
Yeah, there's been so many expressions around love. Like, I shared with Jenny yesterday morning, and it turns out she's like kind of going through the same sort of situation about, what is this love? Like, what do we do with it? Like, it seems to go to a certain person, what do I do with that? So, we had a love session, and I started sharing, and instantly, like, everyone was crying. And everybody was just sharing, and then we come back here, and it's just going on. It just keeps going. Everybody's expressing about where they're at, and just being, we're all just being with it, and I just love that. The whole time I thought it would be so scary to do that, but it's just like, the reflection is just, keep going. It's turning out great in every moment. And it doesn't have to look any way.
The form part starts to actually dissolve the minute that you've been willing to follow through on just your prompt, which is just to share love, and that's for the whole self, the whole universe. It's not particular at all. Yeah, and it's for you. So why would you hold back in your receiving of it if the expression is how you really fully receive for yourself? Only then can the hand come and say, step onto the balcony with me. Step up, be seen. You're so very, very welcome. You're so included and loved, and it seems, you're both the prince and Cinderella in the one go. You have to be, you're both. You have to step out and be seen. And then the line in that song as well is that the fear of being a clown was expressed, and gotta hide your love away, play cool, Right? You can't picture Jesus playing it cool ever, Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like the symbols that I'm given are ones I can accept. And it might look like I'm getting an external DVD drive or an Ethernet adapter. Or I'm being taken on a balcony. But it's like, every time I get these gifts, it's like, oh my God, it's like, just come home, look what's here. It's not about the items or the balcony, but it's that, like, come.
Do you see how much I love you?
Yeah.
Do you see how much I love you? Do you see? Mm-hmm. And just that's like now and available all the time, and it's only our lack of awareness or our fear of it that prevents us from seeing it. The very idea that it's always been there, and that there's no preparation required. You don't have to improve or fix or change something for this. Mm-hmm. Or it wouldn't be love. we share a room here, and I've just been totally falling in love with her since I got here. And I said it's the closest thing to actually being in a room on my own, because the spaciousness and the devotion. And I know that if I'm getting up at any hour of the day or night to be in purpose and function and things I need to do, there's no sense that it could disturb you, because we're so united in our love and what our deep call of our heart is, and this is all we want. There's not a chance that anything could interfere or be disturbed, that there could be a lack of rest or waking or anything. And that's the passion for myself, for being here with everyone. That's the love that we're sharing here. And we come around the room yesterday evening and everyone's had the same day and everyone's had the same experiences. And we just become very aware that just the characters yet again for the mind to awaken, and we're so willing to just with gusto play our part, walk in that door, share those lines as described, knowing it's all going to turn out great,
Yeah.
Because that's freedom. Like, if you're not free to do that, and it's just, yeah.
I feel like all barriers are just falling away. It's like time and space are totally collapsing. There's no difference between these little pods. Because as soon as I express something, it's coming out of everyone. The same thing. It's just all the same. And it's happening so quickly. And seemingly there's a group up in Duchesne, and they're expressing, and like we come back and it's like, oh yeah, we felt you, we were there with you. Yeah. It's just one big field.
I was sitting up by the canal where it turns into the rapids there this morning, and I have never been there when there's been actual water flowing. It's always been frozen. When I've been there, I've sat there, when you could skate across it. That's all I've ever seen. And today it's soft, sparkling light, and it's deep and flowing. And then there's this one part where it goes quite steep, where it goes like it looks like rapids, but it's only for 10 feet, and then there's a plunge pool, and then it's back deep and still again. And I was just feeling like most of the river is like that, except for this one part, and that's the one part. We're going along, we've had some sweetmeats on this journey, we're convinced that it's about love and everything, and then we come to this sudden drop or change in pace or shift, and there's this fear of hanging onto the side, and that you'll drown, or that you'll be plunged, or that it'll be too much, or you'll be overwhelmed, or just that there's something. And it's such a small moment, and then it just continues in the depths. And I was just looking at how smooth this actual piece was, because it's a constructed channel, just like the Spirit has us in. We're in under Christ's control, and we're in the ideal channel for us. And if we can just fully let go and trust that, then you'll find you skim over what you thought were rapids. And yes, you're going to get plunged, but it's a christening into real love, and you're going to find that you don't need to right side yourself up. You'll get popped out, and then you'll just be in the deep, soft river flowing down again. And it's just that willingness that you had this week to just go. Just let go. Yeah, my gratitude for you is immense. It's immense. So from the first time I saw you on a Skype call, I thought, oh, I really like her. That was my innate response to you. Yeah. And I would have your reflection for myself, and I would have your presence and what you bring in my life, and I would throw my arms open to you and say, I'm so glad you came. I'm so glad you came. I could not do this without you. I'm so glad you came.
Yeah, and this is what it's like with everyone. Yeah. Yeah. It's just, everything is so gentle. Oh my god, I couldn't have imagined it being so gentle. Every time I think I'm gonna get plunged, it's like, no, actually, no. It's like instead of plunging, I'm flying. Yeah. And then there's no words left. Yeah, I feel like what's really prominent in my mind right now too is it might seem like there's different people and bodies and different places, and I always thought that for me to feel this love and like connection and for me to feel really the truth of who I am, I thought things had to look different. And that just never turned out that way. And I had this really great experience last year, or the beginning of this year actually, where I didn't even know that was still there, but I thought form was going to change. It was going to look different, and it was going to be smooth and in form. And, my life situation would look different, and everything was going to be different in the world, and then there would be peace. But we watched. Jackie showed us Lisa Cairns' video, and Lisa Cairns just kept saying, "Life is always going to be messy." Now that's a judgment still, but it's just going to look the way it's going to look. And that, it just, in my mind, it just cleared that out, like, it's going to look how it's going to look, and the form is not going to change. But what's changed is what's happening in the background here in my mind, and what I'm looking with. Like, there's an experience of perfection, however it looks, like an aliveness that doesn't really change with the form. It's just the interpretation is always the same. It's love. don't think I could have ever imagined being in love with so many people at the same time. And it's all okay.
Hmm.
I love that. Where else can you be in love with everyone?
Did you have a song and a song too?
Yeah, I was feeling to play another song. Do you have it? Okay. It's a song that kept coming to me last week when I was having all these feelings coming up, and I was just like, what do I do? What do I do with this? And the song really just goes right into it and tells you what to do with it. Yeah.
The darkness, it ain't real, so let it up and let yourself feel and let it up to the surface. Don't be nervous, don't be. You are so true. You know what to do. You are so sweet. You have everything that you need. You are so nothing to fear. So let it up to the surface. Don't be nervous. Don't be nervous. So let it let it out to the surface. The darkness, it ain't real, so let it up and let yourself feel and let it out to the surface. Don't be nervous, don't be, let it out to the surface. Don't be nervous, don't be nervous. Just let it out to the surface. Don't be nervous, don't be nervous. Cause the darkness, it ain't true and you have nothing to lose, so let it out to the surface. The darkness, it ain't real, so let it up and let yourself feel and let it out to the surface. Don't be nervous, don't be. Don't be nervous. You are just so dear. You have nothing to fear.
It's beautiful. I've never actually heard that before. That song. And it just had welling up very strongly as we listened to that it's a trick to think that you need to do some healing or that you've a grievance you need to clear before you can open up to love. It's the opposite. It's the willingness to follow the prompt or just do the next indicated step or join with someone on a project or whatever is given. That is the very thing that releases the grievance and opens you to the love. And if you hold back because you think you've a grievance and you've something to work through or fix, then you're not following the prompts, you're not following the flow, you're not allowing yourself to be carried so gently and smoothly through what in the mind we have set up as some idea of terror, and it's not at all like that. If you can just for one moment, look at the belief that you know something or you understand something, like that's all that needs to be questioned. And once that's questioned and you just look at what's right in front of you, and you turn around, you step out on the balcony, you take the hand that's given to you in the moment, and you can trust 100% that it's for you because it's right in front of you. And once you're really, really willing to do that, everything gets taken care of. The very thing you needed to defend against or were fearful of, it drops away, it doesn't exist. Once you step through that doorway in your mind, it's just not there. And it's a trick. It's a real trick. And there's been so much in the world of like self-development and self-esteem, and even going to counselling for years and trying to work through grievances or past thoughts or ideas of things that happened. And then it just comes like this. And it's just this moment. And it's never scary in this moment. It's only the past thought of another moment or a future moment or what will it mean. Well, you're only ever going to be putting your hand to receive a hand that's inviting you with an open door to love. You're not to open doors anymore to sacrifice. That's not what's being asked. You're only being asked to open up to a love in a way that you can totally accept. It's only going to come in a way you can accept. That's why you can trust. Like, that's why we can trust. There isn't something, it's coming tailor-made for you. Mm-hmm. But your part is just that one moment where you say, that's all I'm opening up to when I open up to love. My way is sacrifice. My plan is sacrifice. My figuring it out and fixing it, choosing the forms it will come through, how it should look, that's sacrifice. And that's the old way, and it will renew the pattern of whatever you're fearful of, that will continue. Or you could step out. And then you end up stepping out of everything. Like you said, the whole world starts to dissolve.
Yeah. like when we talked last night and I was telling you about the gifts I'm receiving and their electronics, I was like, that's the kind of romance that I get now. I get electronics. I don't get a box of chocolate, I get a DVD drive.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I love it. It's so great.
It's just the way that you're willing, but you don't understand ahead of time.
Yeah.
If the Spirit came to you and said, geek for a week, and your heart gets a tweak, you say, but that works. It's what works, it's what counts.
Yeah, it works. It works for me.
Hard drive instead of chocolates.
Yeah, because we just don't know what will work.
Yeah.
And if we did, there would be no need for it. So, resign now as your own teacher. And, yeah, just had this thought, like even you said to me in January, is it a trick? I had this sense like I should step out of the way in a situation. I should step back, and that would be releasing specialness, and that meant I didn't have it. And it was like really, it was just unworthiness, and it was really a call for, again, sitting still and waiting on the Spirit, and just allowing all things to be exactly as they are, neither defending against I don't want specialness, nor running towards something. Yeah, and just totally. Just being content in the moment, and seeing what the Spirit would give me, and as such it was a rejection, of what was being given, and I couldn't see it at the time, and not until I've had this purification the last couple of months, like could I contently sit still now, and just receive what's given, whatever that looks like. Because we spoke about vision this morning with David, and beauty being in the eye of the beholder. It's what I've had, what I thought was attractive or for me or what I would like, retranslated so many times that it is so glorious. I would wish it for everyone, like the experience of watching what I thought I saw in form and seeing it was reading my mind, but knowing I had this deep desire to open up to love and intimacy, and watching the actual seeming physicality of things transform as each judgment dropped from my mind, as I saw it was myself. My brother and my sister are myself. And now I woke up I went to bed with it last night after we had all these joinings in the kitchen, and I just thought, oh my God, you've given me all these beautiful children to love. They're so gorgeous. Like they're so gorgeous, and you've given me these children to play with and love. I'm one of them, but there's this experience of looking around, you're lying on your bed like this, and I just felt I had to come over and just like join you in that blessing, and it's all for me, and this, I couldn't hold back anything even if I wanted to anymore. It's becoming so transparent, it just comes all the time, and I wouldn't hold it back from myself, so I really don't care how it looks. A fool for God, whatever it takes, I don't really mind. Because it comes so immediate. It doesn't even seem to matter what you're met with. It's just not actually in response to anything that's there. So it doesn't matter whether you're met with, welcome or seeming like this, because it's just springing in this moment. It doesn't actually pertain to, this is what I'm experiencing now, it doesn't actually pertain to the past or an idea that I like this person or I love that person or something. Actually, it's just a response in my heart in this moment to myself, and I couldn't possibly hold that back, and I wouldn't want anyone to hold it back from me either, so like it's just so welcome. Yeah. Yeah.
I've never seen it.
Closing song.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.